Blender for Noobs.
Hello, this is Dan Nobles and welcome to Blender for Noobs. In this tutorial we're going to look at creating a floor plan of a house. Now we're not going to go into creating the furniture and all that good stuff. We're just basically going to create the floor plan so you'll know how to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do, if your interface is not laid out like this, I do have a tutorial about laying out your windows and your interface. But really we're only going to use the top view, so we really only need one of these windows anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and put the reference image in here that I need to see in the background. So in order to do that, I'm going to choose In, and I'm going to come down here and look for the background images and check that. Expand this arrow and I'm going to add image. Come down here to open and go into my reference images, and I save this reference image from the internet, and there it is. Now I could probably leave this in all views, but I'm just out of habit. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to the top view because that's what we're going to be working in, and I can end close out of that. And just a word about this image, I'm going to put in the description the name of this image, so you can search on that name if you want to get this exact image. But for the purposes of this tutorial, you could actually go out and find a house plan that you would like to do instead of this one. You could also, if you want to make your own dream house plan, you could take some graph paper and just create the house plan that you want, scan it in, and bring it in just like this, like we did on this image, just to let you know. One other thing before we start, you notice that this house is 40 foot by 26 feet 8 inches. You can actually model to scale in Blender. And just to show you real quick, actually, we need a floor for this house anyway. So let's go ahead and do a Shift A. I'm going to do a mesh plane. And I'm just going to scale this up, and I'm going to go hit Z to go into wireframe so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to let's do this. I'll tab into edit mode and B box select this and just bring it down. Just going to pretty much cover the floor plan here. Grab these with the B, move it over here, and grab these vertices and move it over here. And we'll say that this is our concrete foundation. Okay. Now, if you were to do this house to scale, what you could do is go back into your In and look under your edge info. And you have some options here that you can check, and one of them is length. And when I do that, you can start to see, once you're, you can't see it in object mode, but if you tab into edit mode, you can see the length that's there. Now, what is this length actually? Well, you have to set that over here in your scene. So if you choose that, right now it's kind of like none. So you could either use metric or imperial. And if I choose imperial, you can now see that it is, looks like 8.672 feet, and can't really see the one here, but it shows you all the edges of the links. So you can actually do this to scale. Now, this simple drawing that I got off the web is not to scale. So if I bring this up to 40 feet, scale this plane up to 40 feet, it will not equal 26 feet 8 inches because I tried. I know that this drawing isn't to scale. So. But if you create something on graph paper and you know that every box equals a foot or whatever, then you can very easily do something to scale in Blender. Some people don't know that, but you can actually do that. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to turn that off and in out of that menu. Okay, and tab out of that, and we will say that that is our foundation. And just to avoid confusion, I'm going to hit H to hide that right now because I don't want it in the way. And I'm going to go into Control Up arrow so we can work full screen here. And I'm going to do another Shift A and create another plane, mesh plane. And I'm just going to freely G move it down here, S scale it down, and G move it, scale it down some more. I just want it to kind of match the outer wall of what this will be. So now that we got our little plane here, we'll come in here and maybe scale it up a little bit, just make sure it kind of matches that. Okay, so now I'm going to tab into edit mode and make sure you have your vertex selected, and I'm just going to B box select these vertices, and I'm just going to move them along. Now this right here is a window, so I'm not going to worry about the windows right now. I'm just going to go right over those. But everywhere you see a wall like this, you need to stop, do an E extrude, click off of it, and then extrude it to the next one, and then do an E extrude, click off of it, and just keep moving like that. Okay, this is the main front door, so I'm going to stop right there, do an E extrude, come over here, E extrude, and stop right there, go there. So what I'm doing is basically I'm creating some geometry here so that when we extrude that way, we'll have the geometry necessary to go that way. So E extrude along the X axis and stop right there, E extrude. Okay, so now we got our basic wall there, and I'm just going to B box select these vertices, E extrude, and I can go all the way up to this wall here, E extrude, E extrude, and I'm just doing, you know, every time I do this I'm selecting off of it and doing another E extrude and just dragging it. I don't want to stop there, but I'm just going all the way up to the next major wall, E extrude. Now at this corner I'm just going to do a B box select, E extrude, bring it over to here, E extrude over to here, extrude over to here, and I'm not going to be, you know, too exact here. I don't want to, you know, keep you guys forever of me sitting here extruding things, but I do want to show you how I'm doing this. And just doing a bunch of extrusions here. This is the water here, and they show an axis here. Actually, that could have been, that's really, I mean, it'll be an outer wall, so no big deal. But okay, to the end there, and you'll see me select a vertex once I start to, you know, once I go to box select, because it's just easier. I mean, if I try to box select right now, I'll get the one that I don't want. So I just usually is in the habit of selecting one and then B box select, if that makes any sense. So E extrude along the Y, E extrude, E extrude, that's a window, so I don't really care. I'm gonna go right over it down to this wall, E extrude, and all the way back down to the bottom. And looks like one thing I forgot to do right here is I didn't stop my extrusion right there. So to fix that, just do a Control R and select that and just drag it over right there. Now, to be technically correct, we want these to match, so I'm just going to grab these and smooth these over a little bit, and I'm going to B box select these vertices, do an Alt M, which is merge, and I'm just going to merge them at the center, just so this geometry is connected together. Same thing over here, B box select, Alt M, merge at center. Okay, so that is our outer wall there. Now we got to work with these inner walls that we skipped over, and very easily. I mean, we're just going to come down here, I'm going to B box select that, E extrude, bring it up, stop there, come over to the next one, B select that, oop, didn't want to do that, move the cursor back to the center and undo. Okay, E extrude, and just bring it up to the end of that. Just working my way around here and grab this one, E extrude that one, grab this one, E extrude that all the way to here, and there, and there, and there. And now we got to remember where we're at, so let me go ahead and I'm just going to extrude this one, extrude that one, come back over here, extrude there, extrude up to there, grab these, extrude them down to here. So, you know, by now you're probably quite got the point of what I'm doing. Just creating all these interior walls. Okay, and just looking for the next thing, which is right here. So extrude that down to right there. Extrude it. Grab this one. I think, you know, the main thing here is just remembering where you're at and what you haven't done. That's why I'm kind of working in a, you know, around the walls in kind of an orderly manner, I guess, sort of. So this one's kind of weird. It's you have this thick wall and then you have this thin wall. So I didn't really create an extrusion there, so what you can do is just do a Control R, and you can add a loop cut in there to get that extrusion that I didn't do, and just B box select these and extrude them down to where they need to go. Didn't need to extrude that one. Okay, so extrude this one over to there and extrude. Actually, yeah, extrude these along the x-axis. There's that. Grab this one. And as you can see, you know, I'm going fairly quickly. I mean, it's not really that quick, but if you know, I'm not being very precise here. If you're doing your own plan, you know, you probably want to take your time and do it as precise as you want it to be. And actually what you could do here, instead of trying to, you know, extrude this down and then merge them, what you can do, show you a little trick, it might be a little bit easier if I can select what I want to select. Okay, you can just extrude this vertex. Just extrude it out anywhere. And while it's still selected, just shift select this one that you know it's going to hook onto. Do a Alt M and merge at last, and it'll go right along there. So I'm going to extrude this one, shift select that one, Alt M at last. It's kind of an easier way to do that. Oop. Didn't stop there, did I? So, you probably get the point of this thing. So if you want to just kind of skip through the video a little bit on me extruding all these, that's really okay. I understand. No problem. Just leave me here. Okay, so, yeah, I'm an idiot. Alright, so I'm just extrude these over here. And that one's already done. Come back up here, see what we missed. Really right here. And this one right here. Okay, and I got that one already. Alright, so if we go into face mode, or select faces, and we turn off the Z wireframe, then you can see we have, although I missed one here, I can tell, but that's okay. We have the floor plan of the house pretty much done. And that one there looks like I missed, I think. Although, why isn't this one working? What did I do? I know I merged those, but it should still be, oh, it needs to be a face. So let me select edges, shift select these two, hit F, and now it's a face. And I missed that one, but that's okay. So once you have this, select faces, make sure you select it in faces, and do a select all. And now you can extrude upwards. And this is the cool part. But don't extrude very much. Just do a E and just move it up just slightly. The reason is, I mean, you don't have to do that, but the reason I do that is because the door is not going to be right on the ground. You need a lip there, so that's the reason I only went that far. And then do, hit E and just going up as far as you want to go, as far as you think, the house would be tall. And there is your floor plan. And you can do an Alt H and bring back your foundation that we hid. Oops. What did I do with my foundation? Did I delete it? Go to Outliner, see what we got. Okay, not sure why Alt H didn't bring that back in, but anyway, it is there. So there's the foundation, there's the house, and there's your floor plan. Now, of course, there's details that you have to do. You want to, fix your door and windows and things like that if you wanted to. And if we tab into edit mode, you can do things like start to do Control R edge loops and move up to where maybe the top of your door would be. Do another edge loop, move up to where the top of the windows would be. Another edge loop, Control R, and move to where the bottom of the windows would be. Say if you have a window right here, do another edge loop, and you would place those. So maybe you would have a window here, and you could go into face mode, and you could grab that face and just do an E extrude and that would be your window. Of course, you can do some more edge loops and add some cross wood in there, or whatever you want to call it. You grab your door, extrude that in a little bit, and start to build your house and add the different details. So if we say I didn't have a camera already here, let me delete that. You want to take a picture of this, of course you would just do a Shift A, add a camera. I'm going to go to 7 on the numpad and just G move that camera out so I can see where it's at. Control up arrow to go back to my views. While the camera's selected, I'm going to go to this view here and I'm going to do a Control 0 on the numpad. And that will give me the view of what that camera's seeing. So you can see it needs to be adjusted a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of move this around. Rotate the camera and try to get it kind of it's not being cooperative, but I want to get something like a halfway decent view of what this might look like. Okay, that's probably good enough. And just for our purposes here, I'm going to do a new material. I'm going to call this blue, and not make it very much blue, but just give it a little bit of color. And I'm going to Shift A, create a lamp, and I'm just going to create a sun and bring it up and just kind of angle it off to give a little bit of depth there. Control up arrow back here and do F12 to render so we can see what our floor plan looks like. So, very simple floor plan. Of course, you can imagine creating the furniture and things like that as you go on. And once you add those details and give them different material colors and everything and start to add details to the side of the house, I mean, you can imagine that this house is really going to become something a lot better than what it is, a lot better looking. Now, if anybody's interested in, going further with this tutorial and me creating furniture and things like that, that's a possibility. If enough people are interested in that, just comment below and I may come up with a tutorial on that. But I hope you enjoyed this. Go out and create your dream house, create your own plans on graph paper or whatever you need to do, scan it in and create that. I'd love to see what you come up with and what you think. So thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.